Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. We're going to jump in tonight and finish up on our topic from yesterday that we really didn't get to touch. The topic was, why are people confused about race? Why is that confusing? Was it meant to be confusing? What is a race? Is that something? Is it an invention? We're going to look at that. And secondly, can immigrant coalitions be trusted? You know, do immigrants use FBAs to socially climb? Well, our brother Dr. Claude Anderson seems to think so. Dr. Anderson in Black Labor White Wealth says the following. He says, today, there is little cooperation, political or otherwise, between blacks and minority groups. For the most part, ethnic minorities do not support black causes. They have been getting a free ride at black people's expense on civil rights and minority programs. As members of loosely formed political coalitions, they are most quiet while blacks agitate, um, but they are quick to stake their claim on affirmative action benefits won by blacks. That's the truth. This book was written in 1992, and that shit is so real. When I hear, hold on one second. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me now? Nikki, can you hear me? Uh-oh. If y'all can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Oh boy, here we go. Okay. Oh, okay. I see it, Freedom. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Good deal. So, what was I saying? Yeah. So when I think about blacks, and I'm going all the way in on this shit, guys. I'm going back to my childhood in the 2000 in the 2010s. We getting it in right quick. When I think about what our brother Dr. Claude Anderson just said about black immigrant coalitions doing us wrong, you know who I think about? I think about a certain rapper from Senegal named Akon. Um, Akon, who is not of our lineage, glorified being a goddamn convict and did harm to our lineage. Y'all remember his shit? You remember this?
I can't hear it.
Oh, it's not playing. Okay, well, you remember I'm locked up, won't let me out, won't let me out. Fuck them, man. That nigga made it cool to be locked up. It wasn't never
Yep.
cool to be locked up. All the way from fucking Senegal saying I'm a convict. Now I tell you something interesting. Akon was responsible for the success of Lady Gaga. Now, if you know a little bit about the occult, that becomes very interesting. So, who are you really, Mr. Akon? Akon has tried to form a coalition with Black Americans to help Senegal. My question to the room is, what the fuck has Senegal done for us? Has they done anything?
Nope.
Come on with it, Wani.
They've done things against us, like all West Africans. But I'm confused because he speaks about this Wakanda esque city and it never gets built. And he does have money. He does have money and investments. So apparently it's a con. And he wants to keep talking about Black Americans. Oh, they're lost. Oh, they need to come over here. Senegal is not the root to Black Americans. We have a whole new tree here and new roots. They don't have anything to do with us, really. So he keeps saying that, but that's a con. That's just to get us involved because these people have no energy with what they're doing. Senegalese people, they don't have any social clout or energy. Nobody cares what Senegalese people are doing or not doing. And that's true for all of those countries, including white countries. It's just true. They don't have anyone as interesting. We have to speak about it, make it cool, talk about it, and they know it. That is why no matter what anybody wants to do with respect to any of these things, they're going to have to get our approval on it, get our people to say, hey, I went over there and that was cool. If we don't do it, it's not going to happen.
The fact that I'm struggling with the mute button. Thank you, Wani. The fact of the matter is, a lot of these people, and I got a writer friend from Senegal. So it ain't everybody, but it's a lot of them. But a lot of these immigrants are diametrically opposed to Black Americans with secret vitriol, and Akon is one of them. Think about it. Akon had all that success in America based off of Black pain. Again, glorifying being locked up. The criminal justice system, as we discussed yesterday, was created as a means of economic upward mobility for white Americans. Facts. 13th Amendment, ladies and gentlemen, basically legalized slavery if there was a duly conviction. So what do? You criminalize a race. Sharshy McIntyre wrote a brilliant book called The Criminalization of a Race that you can't get because the shit is $1,000 on Amazon. Look it up because it's so deep. But Akon comes over here with his crusty ass talking about it's cool to be a convict, and when he gets his bread, does he help an FBA sister or FBA brother walk into the light? Nope. He helps an Italian named Lady Gaga. What has Lady Gaga done for the black community, ladies and gentlemen? I'm curious to know what you think about this, Mr. Actual Facts. Actual Factual. Actual Factual. Can you hear me?
I can.
Actual Factual. Going once. Going twice.
Have we had problems with the room?
I don't know. I see his hand up. Um, well, while Actual Factual gets it together, go ahead, 7-4. What's going on, 7-4? Go ahead.
Oh,
Go
hi.
ahead.
Good evening. Yeah, the word I hear is Lady Gaga is a man. So,
Mm.
I don't know if y'all heard that, but that's been the rumor going around for decades. Uh, but can immigrant coalitions be trusted? Fuck no. We can't help. These people can't help us, and we shouldn't be helping them. Because these people, they don't have a reciprocal mentality where if you do for me, I do for you. That's that's not really of their cultures. Uh, and something else I want to point out about immigrants. You know, so Trump, he's been deporting people, and he doesn't give a shit. He's deported this guy from Maryland who shouldn't have been in this country in the first place. He had legal asylum status. Trump Trump just drop kicked his ass to El Salvador, and the El Salvador president says, "Yeah, because I don't know if y'all heard, but the Supreme Court ruled 9-0, bring him back." And the El Salvadorian president says, "I'm not bringing him back." So yeah, I don't. Something else Trump has been doing is that he's been moving a lot of these people who got social security. He's been moving them into the deceased categories because Biden, he gave a lot of these illegal immigrants social security numbers. So instead of putting up a fight and trying to get them to get it stripped because he knows it's not, the juice ain't worth the squeeze, he just moved them into the deceased category. So they're basically dead as far as the government is concerned, and these people, they're going to I mean they're going to try to make a fuss about it. They're going to try to get us black people to to get in the way and to take the bullets. and we need to just stay out of it. I mean, I want to see where this goes. I want to see how much of a fight these people really got in them. We're going to find out really soon. With that, I yield the mic.
Well, El Salvador, yeah, I was just briefing myself on that issue earlier, brother Seven Four. It's interesting you brought that up, and the interesting history behind El Salvador is there some, and I'm sure you know as a former naval officer, there's still some bad blood in El Salvador because America had. I'm not going to say we overthrew their government. I'm not going to say that. I wouldn't say that on a live space, but I will say that there was interference there between the U.S. Um, during the 1980s, 70s, and 80s, and um, their economy got wrecked pretty hard. Um,
That doesn't give them an excuse to flee over here.
no, 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 no. That's not where I'm going with that. I was going there because you brought up the fact that the El Salvadorian president is not cooperating with the U.S. government, and I was saying that lack of cooperation has to deal, in my opinion, given the history. Like Professor James Small says, history erases a mystery. It's like they're not really, it's bad blood there because we kind of wrecked them out in the 80s.
Yeah, but this president, El Salvador, he loves Trump. I think Trump said, "Look, man, just say you're not going to bring him back." I think there was some discussion behind closed doors, because because I don't know, because do y'all know what's happening in El Salvador? That dude is basically has just summarily imprisoned a good percentage of the country, and yeah, it's basically cleaned it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, they got their shit together. El Salvador and is that where I'm going? I'm going to one of them countries real soon. I think it's maybe El Salvador. I just came back from Costa Rica, but yeah, they El Salvador is a shit. I want to say yeah, it is El Salvador. It's a shit right now because it's close to Costa Rica, and ladies and gentlemen, that land down there is fucking beautiful. That shit is a paradise. Costa Rica's a paradise. But anyway, Costa Rica is has been caught. A lot of white people have bought land down there, and last time I was down there several months ago, land in Costa Rica was more expensive. A lot of rich white people have summer houses or from winter houses, whatever, down there. I'll post some pictures in Jumbotron. They're outrageously gorgeous. But Costa Rican land is more expensive than American land. So a little known secret is El Salvador is becoming the little spot. And some of my friends say El Salvador is even prettier than Costa Rica. That's neither here nor there, but um, that would make sense why it's cooperation. Yes, that's very fascinating. Thank you for.
We drove the prices up. You can't even get mail there. That's sad that it's more expensive.
Oh yeah. Oh, but those fucking houses. Oh my God. Like in the Costa Rica, and I don't want to. I'm not talking about the culture. I'm just talking about the location. It's just fucking rainbow birds flying around. I couldn't believe the way that place looked. But anyway, go ahead, Kush, Queen Kush.
Good evening, everybody. Good night. Good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are
Hey,
in the world. I wanted to tap in right quick. I came in late last night, but I was like, I'm glad y'all doing this space again. I did not hear what Seventh Ward was talking about El Salvador, or whether he was talking about the issue with the El Salvadorian migrants, the illegal
he
aliens.
was.
Okay, so here's the thing. Over here in Maryland, y'all know we got bald head less with Westmore. He's out here saying that us Marylanders are advocating for we want this man back in the country. And I'm like, no, we don't. No, we don't. We have a U.S. Senator, Chris Van Hollen. He done took himself over there using taxpayer dollars to advocate for this man. I mean, the things that I'm watching, I am just shaking my head. Like, I'm absolutely disgusted at this point. Um, there's just certain things that I'm watching the Democrats do. They are not reading the room, and at this point in time, they don't care about the room. The way they are prioritizing non-immigrants at the regardless of how much people are against it, the fact that Chris Van Hollen would take himself over to El Salvador on taxpayer dollars And they were like, oh, they didn't even let Chris Van Hollen see or speak to Abrego Garcia. They didn't even let him speak to him. So on taxpayer dollars, he just took a grandstanding trip.
Why are
Um,
they doing
Well,
all
the
this?
guy was sent back by mistake, but who gives a shit?
no, 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 no. Here's the thing about Abrego Garcia. There was an immigration judge who he was never granted asylum. He's not a resident. He's never been a resident. He wasn't even granted asylum. The immigration judge simply said, "Oh well, we just won't deport him back to El Salvador." They could have deported him to any country except for El Salvador because he's not a legal resident. He's not here. He's not a green card holder. He's not a naturalized citizen. He's not here by way of asylum. And the thing about it in PG County, where they picked him up in PG County, a lot of people don't realize it's a lot of MS-13 people in the DMV. It's a lot of them, and I will never forget living in PG County across the street from an apartment complex I lived in. Some of these El Salvadorian migrants lived in an apartment together. They murdered one of their roommates because he didn't pay the rent. They chopped that man's body up. Sorry to be graphic, but they chopped the person's body up and tried to throw him in the dumpster. The only way people knew that that happened is because some of the body parts fell out in the parking lot. This is what these people from these countries, they come here and do very graphic things that do not make the news. So while I'm not saying that this Abrego Garcia person is or is not, some of the documents that PG County has released, Pam Bondi has released, that have come out of PG County. All I'm saying is these people are definitely out here doing some very graphic things that do not make the news. So I'm not saying he did or didn't do anything, but he definitely should not have been in the country as an illegal alien resident for over 10 years.
Uh,
He should have been out the
Queen
country.
Kush, that's very interesting to me. Worked. I lived in D.C. I worked at Smithsonian for a little bit, and I couldn't afford to live there. I lived in PG. I lived in Temple Hill. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and this is in 2007. So back then, I didn't see any. In 2007, around the Temple Hill area, I didn't see any like Hispanic people. So you're saying the demographics changed since then over there?
So here's my thing. So I'm originally from Baltimore City. So I did not live down in the DMV area during that time. So I can't speak to their demographics, but most of PG County, for the most part, PG County is like a pretty fairly black county
Yeah, it was
for the
real
most.
black then.
It's a very black county. And when you look at the state of Maryland, the two big pockets in the state of Maryland is Baltimore City and PG County. Those are the two big pockets. But yes, the demographics of PG County since I've moved down to the DMV area, yes, PG County, there are definitely pockets where it is a lot of Hispanics. Like it just looks like a little
Wow.
Hispanic village. Um,
Well,
and
I want to quickly say, y'all. I hope y'all heard what Queen Kush just said. That proves the thesis of Dr. Claude Anderson's thesis and my own thesis, that immigrants have been sent here diametrically opposed to blacks. Why? When I was lived in PG in 2006, 2007, PG County was the richest. It didn't look like it, but it was. It was the richest black jurisdiction in the country. You had the highest um, concentration of black millionaires and um, black professionals anywhere in the fucking country. So PG is what I'm saying. It has been a stronghold for upward mobility with respect to foundational black Americans. And you think it's a mistake? You think it's an accident that immigrants were sent to PG? No, they were sent there to break up our power. And that's the point. That's why these coalitions cannot be trusted, because they're sent here with some unspoken or sometimes spoken, sometimes written down deal to diametrically oppose themselves against us. Go ahead and land
and
your plane, Kush.
and I wanted to also say this too. As it relates to the Hispanics, there are also now a lot of African immigrants that are in PG County and in Moco as well. So this is a landing spot. And so a lot of people, when they think that Maryland is this melting pot and Maryland is this and that, no, it's the DMV is not representative of the entire state. We also have Africans, and another thing that a lot of people may not be paying attention to, the Africans are applying or running for a lot of political office in PG County.
Facts.
So it's like it's not just the Hispanics, it's also the Africans. And it's like with the gentrification, a lot of people don't realize with DC and things like that, it's like they're pushing black people, and it's like, where are you pushing them to? And that's just the DMV. I'm not even talking about Baltimore City. Like it what they're doing across these two black cities is is as you say diabolical. So I'm gonna land my plane on this right here.
That's terrible to hear, ladies and gentlemen, because PG was full of the most eclectic group of foundational Black Americans. I'm talking about naval officers, high-ranking field grade officers, um, attorneys. My dad used to say attorney is normal in PG. It wasn't even fancy. You had little black kids driving around in fucking M3 BMWs. I loved it when I was there, and it was damn near. I didn't have a car. I would walk around PG a lot and catch the train. It was black, 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 and it was black, low SES socioeconomic status, all the way to the fucking top. I fucking loved it. So I knew it was a matter of time before they broke up that power structure. And last but not least, the political power structure of PG when I was there in '07 was dominated by foundational Black Americans. So it's sad to hear that. Thank you for that contribution, Kush. Rob the Whip, what's on your mind?
What's up, man? So,
Yes, sir.
in regards, I know I travel a lot. I just know that these other countries, man, that regard for human life is totally different than what we have here. They don't lean on the police like we do down there. Those cultures, if they got issues, their little communities handle it at that level, and then they call the police. So their whole mindset is different. They move as a collective, especially when they come to another country. They set up shop and try to create their own community within communities, like little sub communities. So can we trust them? Hell no, because they all come here with their own agendas. We know that because you get like 30 or 40 of them in one house. From the Chinese to the Latinos to the Africans, anybody. They move on their own. They don't try to assimilate. They they try to work work within the community, but they create their own little sub community. So no, they can't be trusted. Deal with them business wise, but keep an eye on 'em.
Yeah,
I land with that.
they freeze us out of economics. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to hit y'all with some evidence because this is a subtopic that's very critical. I might need to have a room on that alone. Dr. Claude Anderson in Black Labor White Wealth, page 102, says the following. As a matter of fact, well, fuck it. Let's go to the top of that paragraph. He says, quote, a continuing flow of immigrants, decade after decade, from 1607 to present day, came believing that America abounded with freedom and wealth. Common sense dictated that they anticipated they would face the kind of life most black people face, right? Immigration would have ceased immediately after the first boatload arrived. The flow of immigrants never ceased. Never. Because they were never treated like blacks. Y'all heard that? She said it's African population in PG. They not being treated like us. Dr. Anderson says, quote, as a matter of fact, ethnic and racial immigrants historically have been a wedge between whites and blacks, giving whites an alternative to interacting with blacks. Stop right there. So when I was in PG, I saw a lot of them was Democrats, a lot of the FBAs were Democrats, but I saw a fucking stronghold, a strong wedge of black FBA power from the top down. The only industries I saw in PG that were dominated by foreigners were the Chinese restaurants, but the barbershops was black. Everything was black in PG. So what did they do? They sent a flow of immigrants there to bust up that power structure. I'm telling you that this flow of immigrants, what I would like for my listeners to understand and really uh, sink into is immigration is anti-black. It's sent to bust up our power structure. A reparations claim could have came through from PG with all those lawyers. Everybody was a fucking attorney in PG. All those politicians, they could have rallied and created a black stronghold. But it's sad to hear from Queen Kush that it's immigrants there now. But I'm telling you, it's not an accident. Xavier, what's on your mind, man?
Hello, everybody. How's the family doing?
I'm good, bro. What's on your mind?
Okay. With this situation happening, see, understand something that these tethers and they're not just doing it in the states. What you when you see these tethers come over to the states, a lot of times some of them will get into the military or not. But here's another thing: they go overseas and attempt to cosplay as us.
Like
I
Akon.
Oh no, not only Akon, but I mean they will come to Japan, they will go to Korea, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm so happy to be a black from America in Japan." I'm like, just yesterday, just last night, I had to get on this Nigerian tether who tried to pull that, and I'm just like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! You ain't black American, you Nigerian."
You're in Japan, right?
Yes, I'm in Tokyo.
Yeah, I hear some of my friends. I did a training. I'm not a Marine, but I did a
No, it's all good.
cross training with the Marines. I had a blast. It's a high honor for them to let me into their world. But some of my Marine friends that are Marines that still in
Mhm.
are stationed in Japan, and they were telling me it's something called what's that? Rapungi or something? Rapungi?
Yeah, Rapungi.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh my God.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
he
God.
said that.
Oh my God.
So Rapungi is a black. Maybe you can educate us on it. But I heard.
No, no.
Go ahead.
See, okay. No, go ahead and finish it. Go ahead and finish your thought real quick, and I'll go ahead and finish your flow so I can answer it
I've
properly.
never been, ladies and gentlemen. I want to go, but I was told that Roppongi is a black neighborhood in Japan, and girls.
No, it's not.
What?
No, it used to be.
Oh, they took that too.
It used to. You see, the thing is, it was like maybe 20 years ago. Basically 20 years ago, FBA was just straight up running that place. I mean, it was like it was basically the equivalent of, it was so high class. All the music was black. It was all black Americans and everything. Then when that economic downturn hit, right around when the bubble popped, basically all the money and everything went out. It just went to trash and everything. Then what happened is the Nigerians moved from Shinjuku to Roppongi, started opening up
And
shops and everything.
that's
And
exactly what my homeboy said. He said you got
yeah.
fucking so ladies and gentlemen, like the Japanese girls would go to they call it Roppongi hunting. They would go there looking for FBA. They fucking in love with black American
Oh
men.
yeah. Yeah, not only that, it was like not only Roppongi, but like Yokohama.
Oh
What
yeah, he's right,
yeah.
because I've been to Japan too, because I was in the
Hey,
military
hold,
too, of
hold on,
course.
black. I get to you. Finish your thought. It's like
No, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. Because the thing is, it was like Yokohama used to have like Prince used to have a club out there called Glam Slam. Then Don Cornelius had a club called had his club Soul Train and everything. But yeah, we used to run this thing. But see, the thing is, you always end up getting these Nigerian and African cockroaches talking about, "Hey brother, how you do? How you be?" And I'm like, yo man, mother. And see, back then we didn't have the terminology, but we knew something was off with them motherfuckers. But the thing is, as of right now, now that we have the terminology and everything, and we see how they are, we like, yo, man, you ain't us. Hold on, get. And see, the thing is, the only way that these Africans can even get a dang day to say, "Oh, my name Billy, I'm from America." It's worse. "Oh, we all black." I'm like, no, we all black. You Nigerian, you Haitian, you Caribbean. And another thing that they do is they're in like Harajuku. All they try to do is just try to sell hip hop gear, sneakers, and try to and they just mess up the brand. Not only do they mess up the brand, but the thing is, you cosplaying as whether you're from Caribbean or the continent, cosplaying as Black Americans. That's the only thing they do. So that's why when we started making the FBA, when we started coming up with the coin FBA, what that basically did, that cut off their source of income.
I love it.
It cut off their source of income. It cut off their credibility. They can't front like us. And now you're starting to have like, and see, you see a lot of Japanese girls that used to be with them Nigerians, and then all of a sudden, soon as he whip out that passport for that marriage license, it's like, huh? You said you were from America. Oh yeah, but I'm from New York. It's like, no, 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 no. Because the
Well,
thing is,
let me interrupt you right quick. That goes straight to the topic. Can immigrant coalitions be trusted? No,
no,
because why?
no, under
Why?
no
Why?
circumstance.
Because just like Rapungi, just like everywhere, that's fucking crazy to hear this happening in Japan too. They are obsessed with
No,
the.
no, it's been happening. See, the
Well, no,
thing
no, no.
is, it's
My
like
my
that's why.
point
Okay,
is,
sorry, go ahead.
they're cosplaying and forming fake coalitions with us to steal our goods. Let's
Exactly.
shut down this coalition. And we all grown in here. But what I'm starting to see in my world is opportunities are being taken away from our children and being.
Yeah, exactly. Our children and our grandchildren. See, that's why I'm doing everything I can to get Tariq to get over here. I'm like, I'll get him here for the vacation first, for him and his family. But I'm like, hey, look, here's the plan. It's like, because we can take Japan, and from Tokyo, we can pretty much blow up the entire planet. Because what I'm doing right now is like this with my proposals and with my action plans. I'm creating a beachhead here that's going to be like, hey, look, because the thing is, it's like, what killed the dinosaurs? It wasn't a stronger dinosaur. It was a meteor that hit and just choked out the entire atmosphere. I want to create an FBA atmosphere here, and the only way we can do it is with some real brothers, with some real situations, and some real what is it, and some real impact. Because the thing is, it's like, what's the word that Cat Williams says? Fake niggas make it mess it up for the real ones. But we ain't no niggas. But it's just like, hey, look, you have, and see, the thing that's so weird is, a lot no the black military guys, they can't even come out to Rapungi, or they can't really leave, they don't really let them leave the base anymore, because basically black culture, no matter where it is, it floods the zone.
Hey, hold that thought. We're gonna go
Why
ahead.
should we
Go
go
ahead, Wanda.
over there? So you want us to go there and
No, no, I
hold?
didn't say, no, 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 I did not say that.
Then
I
what did
don't
you
want you
say?
guys coming over here. No, 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 no. This ain't a flea situation. It said establish a beachhead, because the situation being is, Asia in itself, in Tokyo, has a lot of money that can be infused into foundational Black America in the States to start funding businesses. I didn't ask y'all to come over here. I asked Tariq to come over here, and then I'll talk to him.
We're gonna move on. Wanda, did you land your plane?
Uh, I
Go
had a
ahead.
plane.
Wani not done. She just ain't saying it. Wani's not done right now. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say actual factual. His hand is still up, and he never got the chance to talk. I don't know if he has his thing together yet or what's
Yeah, I was
going on.
gonna go to him. Go ahead, actual factual. Can you hear us? He may be having problems. It went to listener all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's having a problem then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What?
Well, we'll go.
Did
We'll
I?
come back to. We'll come back to you, Xavier. Go ahead, Black.
Oh yeah, so yeah, shout out to everybody's space now. Zebby, I just came from Japan about 2 months ago.
Oh, what's up,
Y'all,
man?
you heard? Hey, what's up? But yeah, I was out there in Tokyo, Yokohama myself. I was out there for like 2 weeks though. You heard about this famous Black American soul food restaurant called Soul Food House in Minato City?
Let's see. Are you talking about? Let's see. Are you talking about the one that's in Azabu?
Yes, that one. Yes, that one. I
Yeah,
did
I
an
know.
interview.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
know.
did an
Yeah, I know.
interview.
I know it is. I know what it is.
Yeah, I did an interview with the brother too. He said, told me about the Nigerians, or he was probably over here too as well. He's saying that they trying to steal his soul food recipe,
Oh
basically
yeah.
trying to
No.
hold.
I completely believe it.
Yeah, he told me why I did an interview with him though. I was trying to find. I actually did an interview with the brother because he told me that the Nigerians they trying to copy a soul food restaurant because
Oh
when I was
yeah.
in the
Oh
soul
yeah.
food
No. That
restaurant.
that's all they do. That's all. No. That's all. Everywhere we see, everywhere we go, it's like we got these Nigerian cockroaches and everything. But see, here's the thing though. When we try to get when but see, the thing that's such a big dang excuse. The thing that's really irked my nerve and everything, because up to now, nobody was really business minded and actually trying to do something. Everybody was trying to do English teacher, just cooning, and we missed a lot of opportunities. But see, the thing is, these Nigerians, they work as a collective to try to
Yeah, they
steal our
sure do.
stuff. They try to. I mean, no matter where you go, They always trying to, and then they try to pass off themselves. They try to pass off our stuff as theirs. You saw that with microphone check.
They
You
sure
saw that.
do.
You see that now with this Afro beats and everything. Hell, you even see the Koreans do it with K-pop, with fried chicken and music. They put a
Yeah.
K on it.
Even,
So the
even that's not also in Japan though. The African and Caribbeans, they be cosplaying while I went out to Canada too.
say
Man,
that
they
one more
be trying.
time.
While I went to Canada, because I travel most different countries. I travel the country at least 2 or 3 times a year. Yeah, Japan was a cool place. Though. I went all throughout Tokyo. I was in Shinjuku, Harajuku. I was in Minato City.
Okay.
I was in what other place? I was in Oman, that small
Hmm.
town over there. Man, the
Hmm.
Nigerians they should be cosplaying Black American culture. While I went on the
That's all they
airport,
do.
while I went on the airport trying to get while I came from the airport going to Tokyo,
Hmm.
it was the Africans trying to cosplay as Black Americans. We having chains, trying to dress like us.
Constantly,
Yeah,
constantly, constantly.
yeah,
And the
yeah,
thing
sure
is,
do.
it's like and the thing
Well,
is,
hold that
and
thought, Xavier. I want to, before we lose context, I want to explain to the room what we're looking at.
go ahead.
If you America was formed based off of, like Dr. Claude Anderson said, the old royalist idea of nobility. So if you look at that hierarchy chart I have in the jumbotron, um, the in Europe, it was the monarchical structure was based on blood. You couldn't be a noble unless you. There were rare exceptions with the church, and we see that now with religious structures in America. But the, long story short, Europeans wanted to be nobles, and they a new concept was created of black and whiteness. Whiteness was a form of nobility. It was a higher status in the social hierarchy. Now, fast forward to now, what we're dealing with is Africans slipping into this false sense of nobility. It's a unspoken contract with the system of white supremacy. Let's look at what Dr. Claude Anderson says on that. Dr. Claude Anderson says a major myth is that there has been competition between blacks and other ethnic groups. Let's talk about Africans, right? Dr. Anderson says there have been no such competition. European ethnics simply bumped blacks, listen to that, bumped us from whatever we were interested in getting because they were higher in the order of social preference. What we're talking about is these immigrant quote unquote coalitions. That's bullshit. There's no coalition.
Mm,
They come around us basically sent informally or sometimes formally by the system of white supremacy to kick us out of our inheritance or our hard work to take it. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is no coalition. It's a fucking takeover.
hmm.
Black
No,
land, the black
it
land.
is.
It was on black. Black land. You're playing.
Yeah, so I want to say this though, but yeah, but these foreigners you can't trust them though because especially the African Caribbeans they actually more dangerous though because they can actually blend in with us though. Like every country I travel to, why I went to Canada? The African Caribbeans because playing Black Americans why went to Canada too, especially with the Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Quebec. They be cosplay Black Americans. They be wearing do rags and
Yeah, and
if somebody
here's the thing though,
Hey,
when they
hey,
misbehave and
Xavier.
everything,
I'm
it
a,
comes
I'm
on
gonna come
us.
back to you. Let him finish his thought.
All right.
Yeah, but also I told it was a Canadian person though asked me is this I said there ain't no Black American that's African though Caribbean though I said we don't be talking drugs like that he said I figured that though same thing I went to Japan while I went to soul food restaurant you know, that's one of the popular Black American spots in Tokyo, especially the soul food house in Minato City. Though, while I went over, there's Black Americans from all over the country. Our soul food is so good out there in Japan, especially Tokyo. I went over there. You have to have make a reservation like 2 or 3 days in advance to go to that soul food restaurant. That's popping though. But the soul food restaurant owner told me behind after the camera, he said, yeah, the Africans, especially Nigerians, they've been trying to buy his sofa restaurant because sofa restaurant been open for almost going on 10 years though. Because they see his sofa restaurant very popular. His sofa restaurant been in TV shows all over Japan. And then a lot of Japanese government officials go over it and actually support his sofa restaurant. So the Nigerians see the opportunity to capitalize, make money off of that. Though they said the Chinese, not the Japanese, but the Nigerians is trying to
So
buy
they're
his sofa.
cosplaying us, the black. Are they? So they're
Yes,
basically cosplaying and
yes, they
stealing
are
from
and
us.
though.
Okay.
and
Yes, they are.
lying. and lying too.
Yeah, and
Yes, they are though.
it's played off, ladies and gentlemen, as innocent, as
No, it's okay.
it's
Sorry, go ahead.
very dangerous because, like Queen Kush said earlier, and Brother Tariq has said this in one space a couple days ago. They're seeping into the power structure and wiping us out of our inheritance. Kush, you had a comment.
I needed to say
Go ahead,
something
Wani.
about how dangerous the behavior is because now, because they have cosplayed South Africans so badly, now their value of their passport has gone down. And people are just like, we don't even want South Africans to come over here
Hmm.
because they're probably counterfeit Nigerians. So that's a problem that South Africans have. If they've been cosplayed, the value of their passport has been impacted, and now everybody is suspicious that they're really not South Africans, but are in fact people from Zimbabwe or Nigeria. So it is dangerous. They could impact our passports. People might start saying, oh, well, we don't know if Black Americans are Nigerians over here.
Well, see,
Then what?
that's the thing I really wanted to get with, because what's happening is it's like a lot of these Nigerians and everything, they're dropping these little half Japanese anchor babies, and they're just saying, "Oh, I'm half black, I'm half Japanese." I'm like, no, you want these Nigerian babies, because one of the things that Black Americans don't do is we don't abandon our kids. That's the one thing I got to say with their military dudes. They don't abandon their kids. They either take them back home, or they say like, "Hey, look, or I ain't got nothing to do with it." But the thing is, you got a lot of these half African. You have a lot of these half African, what's called anchor babies that they drop here for visas. But see, the one thing that they don't know is a lot of these Nigerians and Africans are already married back in Africa or back in the States and everything. So they're just trying to drop a visa so they can stay here permanently. The game is diabolical. But all
And
with all that said, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and also Zeb be right because I was stationed in Qatar. While I went to Qatar, a lot of people, a lot of locals in Qatar was asking me questions that, yeah, is this the Black American? No, because you got a lot of Africans, like mentioned, a lot of Eastern Africans and not and West Africans that's Muslims that travel over to Qatar. So they do a lot of general stuff over here. And the Qatarian people in Qatar, they asked me, is this a Black American? I said, no, this is an African. No, because every try to cosplay us in Qatar, same thing UAE. And
Hmm.
it's because they messed our image up so bad over here in UAE and Qatar that a lot of them be thinking we Nigerian because you Black Americans be traveling to places like UAE and Qatar. A lot of us start being discriminated against in some of these countries now because a lot of people be thinking we are Nigerian or Somalian
So
over
what
when
is
we
the
go to these other
takeaway?
countries.
What is the takeaway from all the men on stage, or all the people on stage who have worked or traveled abroad and spent a certain amount of time? What is your takeaway in regards to being foundational Black American? What would you say the takeaway,
Well,
the lesson?
our takeaway lesson is make sure we educate people and these people know these ain't us though that's going to these other countries like Johnny Somalian that he
Hmm.
doing the general shit
Oh
in
my God.
yeah,
Oh my
like
God.
in Japan and South Korea, and he going to other foreign countries, and he's saying he Black American. He not saying
Yep. Oh
he's
my
Somalian
God.
though. And we go to
Oh
these other
my God.
countries, they start watching Black Americans that be trying these other countries basically ruin our image. So yeah,
So
you
we're
got people
talking
like
about
that,
culture. We're talking about
cultural
cultural
appropriation.
preservation. So we
Yes,
need
Well,
to
not
cultural
preserve
no.
preservation.
Hold
our
on, hold
culture.
on.
So
I'm
how can
not.
wait just a minute?
I'm
How can
not.
we stop? How can we stop? What is a good way to stop
So
these people from tethering and stealing our ideas?
so
I
I'm
Nikki,
would
about
say
to
What's
one
a
of the
go.
good
good
way to
ways is
completely cut that off when you're
well,
traveling to other countries and you're bringing your recipes, your music, your dancing, everything about the way that you shop, everything about the way that you dress. You're bringing that over there. What is a way to stop, just totally cut the cord off
so
from that
Nikki,
happening?
so Nikki, I want to jump in here right quick, because
No, I just want that question answered real quick, just real quick.
no,
what,
no,
what, what
Can
I
Can
would
I
I'm gonna
say.
answer
answer
that?
your question. I'm gonna answer your question because I have had extensive dealings with people in the military. And one thing
Not
about people
military.
when they're in the military and they go overseas, a lot of times what I realize with people, especially foundational Black Americans, the military teaches people to make those people in the military their family and to be
Right.
color agnostic, meaning you don't look at color. And so a lot of times when I listen to Black people, foundational Black Americans, talk about going overseas, this is how a lot of them end up in interracial relationships This is how a lot of them end up in these interracial marriages with biracial children and stuff, because sometimes they're being stationed by themselves. And sometimes I do think that's by design, when Black people are being stationed by themselves out in these enclaves like Montana, or they'll go out to the Far East or these different places, and it's nobody else out there but them. And so, what you will start to hear people in the military say, oh, these are the common things that brought us together. And so, a lot of times, people will not gatekeep because they're being taught to make these people their family. And so, sometimes people have to unlearn those types of things. But one thing that I realized for myself interacting with, um, like people that are,
That's not my experience in the military, ma'am.
I didn't say it was
But
Nah.
everybody.
just let her finish. I'm gonna let you. We're gonna let you go, sir. Just
Yeah,
I just want to hear her. Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna come to you, Seven Ward. Go ahead, Kush.
So I'm not, first of all, I'm not saying that that's everybody. And generationally, your experience in the military previously versus people that are younger, it might be something different. I'm talking about people in my peer group or people that are slightly older than me. That's what they talk about, is how they made these people their family. And so I observed that they do not gatekeep our culture because everybody's trying to find a common ground. These are the people that you fight with. Your life is dependent upon the next person beside you. 9 times out of 10, you ain't got time to fight about race. And so people trying to find a common ground, which hampers us gatekeeping our culture. That to the side, I have found for myself when I interact with people, whether it's people from the military or people that are civilians who come from Caribbean or African backgrounds, who try to do the we all Black thing. One thing that I've been using is the term American freedmen, Black American freedmen. And when I have noticed that these Caribbeans or these Africans kind of try to, well, can I kind of be a part of it? No, you can't. And I say that 10 toes down and firmly. And once I say it firmly, I say, but here are the things about your culture you can be proud about. Why don't you talk about these things? So I try not to be, as Tariq says, I try not to be mean spirited, but I point them back to their culture. And so I ask the Jamaicans, why don't y'all talk about the Jamaican Maroons? Why don't you talk about the Caribbean emancipation and how your islands were emancipated from slavery? Why don't y'all talk about those things instead of tethering onto our history? 9 times out of 10, they don't have a good answer, but I always point them back to their own history and say, instead of tethering onto our stuff, you got some things to be proud. Oh, I didn't even know that. Then maybe you should research it. So that's what I do to kind of gatekeep the culture. I kind of point people back to also looking up their own history, and I yield the floor.
Yeah,
That's a
go ahead, Wanda.
that's a shame because that's what we do. We always pull up everybody's history. So now we have to tell them their history and say, go play around with that and leave ours alone. What is that? Why don't they do their own history? Why are we talking about Mansa Musa and Timbuktu? We're the ones bringing all that information out. They're neglecting history. They've always neglected history. That's why they don't have any books that show what they were even eating prior to colonists arriving. And we're supposed to bring all those things out and then beat them away from our information because they're too lazy to simply research their own backgrounds. That is really embarrassing.
And one
Well,
and
well,
one, you actually
I
right
was
though.
gonna say, to piggyback off what Queen Kush just said, and Seventh Ward. I've seen it both ways, but it's true. The I've seen whole platoons at Paris Island that were whole female platoons that were of recruits that were from Africa, and just in brief, like games are played. The military is used as a social, can be used as a social experiment to like serve an agenda. But I put a piece of scholarship in the jumbotron to show why, Wani. Why is it done? And we need to just understand that these people aren't stupid. They know the agenda. Dr. Claude Anderson says, as competition for resources, that's the key fucking word. Resources. They want our shit. Resources increase and blacks become more frustrated. Conflicts for power. Stop right there, like Kush said in PG County. quote, resources or even basic rights are developing between blacks and all ethnic and racial groups who rank higher than blacks in order of preference. These people are sent here to be a buffer towards us. And somehow we need to teach our children, we're not in hate. I'm not a hateful person. FBAs, we all love, but we're at a point now where we need to guard our identity, to guard our resources before we get straight up erased.
Now, can I answer the question, please?
What question are you referring to?
The question was how do we,
It,
and the question was how do we what you call it? How do we
preserve our
safeguard our children?
culture. Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you preserve your
okay,
culture if you have to work or be in a
well,
military over there?
I'm not military.
Or if you
I,
have
I,
to work, go to school, or be in a
I'm
military
not.
over there, or
I'm
be
not.
over there.
I'm not military. I've never been military over here. I have my own business over
Okay,
here.
I don't know if you
I'm
can hear me. I said if you have to work, go to school, or be in the military. I mentioned those three things. I mentioned three
okay.
things.
What? Okay, wonderful. Now the thing is, I'm a choreographer over here. I work with some of the top artists. I pretty much choreograph their videos. And the one thing that's not happening over here is you're not seeing a what's the word a regular rotation of choreographers of, shall we say, I used to have a radio program over here, as well as I worked in a lot of media, and you're not seeing a big pool of, shall we say, creatives that can pretty much say like, hey, we're in Japan from now, the real stuff is here. um get rid of the fakers. It's all about, what's the word I say, having the real what's the word having the real, I say, putting our presence down, not staying over here, but just having a regular rotation. That's what I'm looking at doing. And when it's here, people can say like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's the fake stuff. This is the real stuff. Oh, this is the real luxury bag. All that other stuff is counterfeit." When people see it and everything, and they can have access to it, not as far as like being able to touch it, being able to, what's the word to say, actually experience it, then guess what? The fake goes away. You say, "Hey, wait a minute, you're not American. You're not FBA. You're Nigerian. You're trying to fake like that." That's how you do. That's how you do it in Asia. You start from Tokyo, it spreads away. And with that, I'll land my plane.
All right, we're going to go to Seventh Ward. Had a comment earlier. Then we're going to Clue or a Clo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Go ahead, Seventh Ward.
Oh yeah, look, I don't want to disrespect what the lady was saying, but yeah, but they got clicks in the military. Oh, believe you
Oh
me,
yeah,
like a lot of the Filipinos in the Navy, a lot of them are of the CS rate or the GSE rate, so they pretty much gatekeep those rates because
facts.
since a since a lot of them are of they can't get, since they're not U.S. citizens, so they can't get security clearances for the other rates. They usually pile into those rates, and yeah. So, and in my experience with the Filipinos, they were all right with me, but yeah, but they got clicks. And I yield the
Can
floor.
I?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Can I just ask a quick question to Seven Ward? Is that
Go ahead.
them gatekeeping as far as positions, or is this them gatekeeping the culture, like the FBA culture? Because I'm just trying to, Nikki, what was your question? Was this about people just gatekeeping cultures, or was this about us FBAs? I just wanted to make sure I understood what Seven
Well,
was
you
saying.
have the question of the space, but we start going into, there. I didn't expect so many people to be here who have worked or had businesses or been in the military or gone to school or anything, who stayed overseas for a long time. So I was asking them, how can we practice cultural preservation over there? How can we keep people from taking over our culture, like the K-pop thing, and I'm thinking about the soul food restaurants. How did the soul food restaurants get started over there in the first place? I know people got to eat and they want to eat their own food, but I was just trying to see if we could come together and figure out a way to preserve our culture for the people who have to be over there for long periods of time.
Some of the time, I know people that personally did this. We literally are summoned to go overseas and teach people how to dance and how to perform and how to do these things. So we're actively teaching them how to do that, and then they they basically fall in love with our culture and then want to get rid of us. It causes people to be ethnocidal. They want to get rid of us, but they want to keep the culture. So, and that happens because they have to get rid of you in order to lie and say they created it. What a That's the only way to be able for a Japanese person to be able to say they created jazz fusion, which they were saying in some little clique. It's like, oh, does Miles Davis know about this? But they're so in love with these different cultural expressions that they're willing to just tell bold-faced lies and just get rid of you, get you out the paint.
That's a fact, Wani. I don't. I'm curious to see if anybody knows the answer to Nikki's question, because Nikki, I don't have an answer for it. But just to prove what Wani's saying is true, I lived in Memphis the last 12 years, and in Memphis, it's a dance. I'm sure y'all seen juking, and it's beautiful when it's done right. But the little boys, the young men, do juking, the juk dance, juking dance, and Japanese people would fly. I'm talking about executives and shit would fly. You'd see them every once in a while in the projects and in in the brickyards and stuff, learning how to juke. So I don't know if they gonna put juking in the Olympics or what they gonna do, but the Japanese business class are really concerned with juking. But how do we gatekeep our culture, Nikki? That's a great question, and I don't really have an answer to that.
Well, I came up with something too. It makes me wonder if one of the things that we shouldn't do until we get back on where we need to be is perhaps we shouldn't serve in the military. Because I remember when my cousin went to the Marines, he was the only child, and I remember him having to spend his first Christmas over there, and he was telling how he spent Christmas. He and one of his white colleagues spent Christmas with a random white family, and he was just crying and missing his family. And you get over there and you get alone and you're doing something, you're fighting for your country, and you're losing your culture. You're losing your lineage and your culture. My cousin is married to a Japanese woman now with Japanese children, and that's his lineage now. Not a black wife, not
Wow.
a foundational black American wife, and everywhere in our family is foundational black American. They have a lovely family, lovely children, but she is not of the lineage. So that's just something to look at.
Yeah, yeah, and it's very true. In the military culture, it's easy to get, from my what I saw, easy to get, lost in another, because you don't really have a choice. It depending on the branch, depending on your rank, depending on your job. And I've also I saw I was a board member in the Air Force Association for years, and I saw the jobs that yield real high income. Like you can go to the military and get as an enlisted person and become like a computer specialist, or I think the Navy has a nuclear program, and you do your 4 years and you can go make hundreds of thousands of dollars without a degree. And I saw some of those jobs in the total force community gate kept by other groups. But anyway, actual facts is back. Actual facts, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
All
hear
right,
you.
brother. You got the floor.
I appreciate it. So I appreciate y'all giving me the time. So just a little bit of background. I was born in Nigeria. Lived there till I was 6 years old, and I lived in England from 6 years to 11 years old. And I moved to America in 1997 when I was 11. And I'm trying to understand the whole like FBA movement because I don't. Because it
It's not a
seems like
movement, it's our
people.
lineage. It's not a movement.
I understand. And I have love for everybody. Like I grew
What
up
do
in
you
the U.S.
consider yourself, British or American?
and um I consider myself Nigerian American, but I don't understand the animosity towards
Well, I can tell you
immigrants.
why.
If you can explain
I
some of that and
can. A
just give me.
Nigerian ran for office on the platform of getting rid of Black History Month. We've had a lot of Nigerians calling us a kata, people like Cynthia Erivo, Lovey, and others. Your people are extremely nasty. Basically, you have a history and a culture of being very nasty to people where you immigrate to. You might be nice, but collectively you're unwanted. You're banned. Nobody wants you around. Even your president said that you're in jails all over the world and people don't want you in the country. So why pretend like you don't know these things?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, Wani. With all due respect, actual factual, I don't know you, but you seem intelligent, and I find it very hard to believe that you don't understand animosity. And FBAs don't have animosity with anybody. That's just our identifier. Just like your
He's
identifier
British. He's
is
British.
Nigerian. I went to West Africa a couple summers ago, and our plane was leaving. I was there all summer, and our plane was leaving that Friday, and I had 10,000 CDs in my that we didn't want to take back to the states with us. I couldn't even spend them motherfuckers because when I walked in the mall, in the stores, I was just gonna spend just buy shit I didn't want. They kept calling me an Akata. So there's I'd walk in the store, Akata. You know what I'm saying? So you know animosity. You know that y'all have West Africans have hella animosity for us, particularly in Nigeria. So
And that's true.
I don't
Now
believe
That's
it.
let's
okay.
just talk
Hey,
about the
Professor,
fact that you have enough animosity to hatchet each other to death, cut each other's heads off, and do genocides and Boko Haram kidnappings. We're not the ones doing that. We're
and
not
Wally,
international criminals.
and
We're not.
Wally,
Hey,
Stop.
Black, hold up. Go ahead, Wani.
Okay, never mind.
No, no, no. Go ahead, Wani.
Yeah, I just want to hear y'all, and
oh,
I just want to let you know I have no
and
animosities.
actual
That's it.
facts.
Yeah.
Hey, Black. I'm gonna come to you in a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Let's
You,
not.
you do have animosity because you got up here on our stage asking us why we were doing something to you, and we haven't. You don't have any proof of us having animosity towards you. All you have proof of is us defending ourselves. So
No,
you
I
did come
just
up here with animosity.
no, I've heard animosity, and I'm here just asking questions as to
What
why,
did
because
you
I'm
hear?
genuinely
What did you
confused.
hear that was animosity?
Well, I hear Tariq and certain
How
people,
is
and
that
I'm asking
animosity? You
Tariq
need
because
to
doesn't have
say,
animosity.
yeah, you need to say exactly because you talking about retorts to bad behavior is not animosity, that's self-defense. You're
no,
not going to tell us not to fucking defend ourselves. You're not going to handcuff us and tell us to shut the fuck up so you can continue to steamroll over us.
I'm
We're defending ourselves.
I'm not trying to
And
do
there's
that. I'm trying to gain.
there's nothing you can do about it. We're going to defend ourselves from your abuse. Do you get it?
I would like that. I don't want
Do
you
you
to
get
not.
it? There's
I don't.
nothing you can do.
Can
We're
I ask you?
going to listen. We are going to defend ourselves from your abuse forever. You're never going to get to do the Pan African shit on us again. We're not the same group. We're not going to be the same group. You're not the same group as others in Nigeria, and you're certainly not the same group or race as Black Americans. You're not the same ethnicity, and you're not the same race. Do you get it? We're not falling for it anymore. So, whatever violence, verbal violence you want to do, it's not going to be accepted. That's the new normal. Get used to it. You're not going to call people antagonistic or any of those terms to get away with doing more verbal abuse against us.
You're right. And what I'm hearing is, like the gentleman said, he went to West Africa and he got called Akata and a lot of other things. And
And,
if that's where the animosity comes from, I'm trying to learn.
and
It
actual,
comes
I've
from
been.
your people, period. You have animosity towards South Africans.
I
You
don't.
have your people have animosity toward everywhere they go. We
I
don't.
I don't.
We don't. We have a history of fine relations overseas. We have expats in every country. We have military. We have celebrities. You don't. You have a history of being trying to get resources from other people's countries, being criminals in other people's countries, getting asylum and handouts in other people's countries. We're not the same group.
I love African
I
Americans.
don't care.
I'm trying to figure out what the
Sister Wani,
I
he's
don't
discrimination.
trolling.
care.
He's trolling,
I
I'm
Sister
don't
definitely
Wani.
care
not. I
what
grew up in the
fibers
Bronx,
don't
Don't
New
give
like.
him
York.
no more energy. He's
I grew up.
trolling. Let's
I love
drop
African
him and
Americans.
let's move
I
on.
grew up in the
I
Bronx,
hear
New
him
York.
grinning. I hear the smile. I hear the snark in his voice. Let's
There's
move on.
no
He's trolling.
no
Sister
trolling.
Wani,
I
I
love African
apologize
Americans.
for you even playing with my sister Wani right now. If you was in public, you would get the dog shit beat out of you. Don't never disrespect our queen, Sister Wani, right now.
I
You know,
love her.
no,
I
fuck you,
love
you
you.
cocksucker. You
It's
was
all
trolling.
love.
I peeped
I'm
you,
bringing you
heard
all
you.
love.
No, fuck
If you
you,
knew how
punk.
honest I'm
Take your
being,
ass back to Nigeria and scratch some monkeys and burn, try some motherfuckers with tires. Get
I'm
the
gonna just
fuck
give
up
you
out of here.
love,
All
Keep
right.
your punk ass.
I
Fuck
want to
and
you.
that's it.
identify
Fuck
something.
that punk, man.
I want to
I'm gonna give you
identify something,
love.
right? This is a teachable moment because actual factual seems intelligent, and I refuse to believe that he doesn't know what we're talking about. What the whole time I've been analyzing his speech, I'm thinking about the rules of war out of Robert Greene's The 33 Strategies of War. Let me
Mhm.
identify a strategy that I think I'm listening to right now. It's strategy number 32. It's called the passive aggression strategy. Dr. Green says any attempt to bend people to your will is a form of aggression. And in a world where political considerations are paramount, the most effective form of aggression is best the hidden one. Aggression behind a complaint, even loving exterior. To follow the passive aggression strategy, you must seem to go along with people, offering no resistance, but you dominate the situation. That's what I think we're looking at right here. And we need
In the streets, it's called finessing. Trying to
In,
finesse something. You know what I'm saying?
in
Fuck
reality,
this
I
cocksucker.
don't.
No, you don't have
In
nothing else
reality,
to say. Drop
And
this
in reality,
mic and drop
and
him. Fuck
Hold
in
him.
and
on.
reality, I
actually,
don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to learn. That's the
Learn what?
reality.
Learn what?
Can I? Can I?
I
Don't even pay him no attention. Don't
I
even answer his call. Don't
hold,
even
hold,
okay.
hold
acknowledge him,
hold up,
Sister
y'all.
Ronnie.
Hold up.
Fuck him.
Let's rate.
I just explained to you what the problem is. It's you guys.
thank you. Tell me more.
That's
I'm on.
I just
I'm trying to
told
have an
you.
honest conversation.
I just told you. You have
Mhm.
politicians over here speaking against
The
reparations.
cocksucker is
I'm
Okay,
trolling.
but I'm
really
talking
not.
to the room. May I talk? Why don't I just shut up?
No. Hold up, guys. Raise your hand because this is not my environment. Like we got people talking over each other, and I've been ignoring it. But stop it. If you have something to say, raise your hand because this is an interesting conversation. Go ahead, Wani.
You've already been told what you did, period. I don't know what more you need to learn. What do you need to learn? Your celebrities are over here calling us ethnic bigoted names because they're filthy ethnic bigots. They can't help themselves. They're tribalist, hateful ethnic bigots. They can't even keep their tongue in their mouth. They're trying to cuss us out and get us to like them at the same time. How stupid are they? Cynthia Revo and Lovey, they want people to buy their books and look at their movies while they call them ethnic bigoted names. Are they stupid? Are you really not a smart group of people to do that? Because who's going to buy your ugly ass products? Tell me that.
May I
Yeah, you can
respond?
respond. Go ahead.
Okay. If you've been called names and if you've been insulted, I'm not on board with that. A lot of my best friends are African American. So if that's happened to you, I disagree with that. I've just
No, it didn't happen to me. They were attacking my entire ethnic group. You think Lovey came over to my house and told me this personally? These are these bimbo celebrities you sent over here.
mm,
Okay? They attacked our ethnic group. That's all you do is open your dumb mouths talking about, oh, black Americans are lost. They need to find there's a they're sitting up in my country telling me what the fuck to find.
yeah. Um I'm not one of them as far as the people that insult you, and I'm just trying to have an honest conversation. If that happened to you, I've had some bad
Not
experiences when I
me.
first moved to America and being
I
called like
don't
African
I
booty scratcher.
don't
And
I don't give a fuck. I'm in my country. I don't care whether you are an African fucking booty scratcher or not. You're not gonna fucking complain. You brought your raggedy ass over here. Get what you get. I'm talking about your motherfucking people coming to my motherfucking country telling me shit. You ain't telling me shit. I don't give a fuck what you got called. You about to get called something now. And you can cry about that for another 14 years. What's next?
I'm not crying about. I'm trying to have an honest conversation
I
with
am
you.
too. I'm very honest.
Yeah, and I can
Hey,
apologize
actual,
to
When
you
did
if
I
you
hey,
need it.
lie?
actual. I hemmed up one of your people today because they put hands
Hey,
on a black
hey,
American.
hold up, FPA, hold up. I want to identify something right quick that Wani's exposing. Fuck this idea of nice. This ain't about nice. This is about economics. This is about power.
Mm.
And the gentleman's talking about somebody called him a scratcher or whatever. That ain't what the fuck this is about. This is about taking over an economic situation in a country that is not yours.
Yeah,
That's
he
what
can
this
get
is
So,
down.
about.
I don't
hold
want
up.
to talk to him no more because we were
Wait.
having a conversation about something else. I'm
Okay,
sick of
but
this shit.
if you immigrated to another country and you don't like your treatment here,
I do like my treatment.
well,
I
then
have a lot
shut
of.
up. Then
Well, what I'm
shut
saying
up.
is
Stop
like what.
talking about being a booty scratcher. I was
Well,
called
one
every
one
name in the
thing,
book, and
one
I'm
thing.
from here by my own group.
So
So
one
I don't
thing.
want to hear about your little third grade experiences like a weak ass.
So one
What are
thing
you
that
even talking?
one
Let Draco talk to
one
this
one thing
fool.
that I'm doing. I'm.
No, you need to talk to someone else. I'm not in the mood right now.
Yeah, we're gonna go on to let's see, FBA final
Draco,
ball. Go ahead.
Peace, peace. This Draco. This my burner. The
What up,
white
boy?
supremacist. Yeah,
Yes,
peace,
sir.
peace. The white supremacists couldn't handle the the bars I was giving them over the Carmelo
Yep.
situation. So you know how they get down. They it's probably like the fifth time they did that. But it is what it is. I got unlimited accounts. But yeah, that dude, man. I don't understand why people think we're supposed to feel sorry for Africans when instead of staying home and addressing their issues like we did, they go and like, well, we're gonna take other people's shit, and then
Preach.
we're supposed to just be cool with it.
Y'all don't let me speak.
Yep, that's the point. It's economics, and that's the point. It's not in room. I want us to really get this, wrap this around our head. It ain't about nice, like Wani said. It's part of our culture in America. In fact, as foundational Black Americans, to we used to call it cracking. You know what I'm saying? To make each other stronger. So if somebody called you whatever fucking name they called you, they called it to me too. It's made to make you stronger. And if you don't like it, I suggest you find another culture to live in. We're gonna go
Hey, can I
ahead.
piggyback off of that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead,
Um,
bro.
that was to toughen us up to deal with white supremacy. If we can deal with each other talking shit to each other, then we could be able to. The ultimate point was to remain calm under fire. If you notice, even with like Tariq, when they started saying the N word and all this shit, he never like lashes back at them, in a out of character way, because you have to stay calm under fire, and whoever loses control, they usually lose. So that, that's why they can't really stand it, and we don't get mad when when they press those buttons through the internet. But yeah, the dozens, man, bro. I've been called everything under the sun, tens of thousands of insults during roast
Facts.
sessions. I did went back and forth, insulted my friends for like 7 straight hours. Like we were arguing so much, like we forgot about the chicks that were standing right there with us in the hallway. Like we were kicking it in the vestibule, and we forgot we was going at it so bad. Like we forgot they was even right there. So it's like, bro, y'all just need thicker skin, man. Like, y'all got thick, get it through your thick skull, bro. Like, this iron sharpens iron. You know, this is the fiery crucible, bro. We do that to build each other up and make our skin thicker. Like, with them thick ass fucking heels y'all got on y'all feet, man, you think y'all will be able to endure some of the friendly fire from your fellow melanated people. I land my plane. Thank you for
Yeah,
listening.
yeah, and that level of weakness and insecurity is why they ran away from their homeland in the first place. You know what I'm saying? You come over here with that weakness and that insecurity. They made fun of me, and what do? According to Dr. Claude Anderson, the first time somebody cracks on you, you team up with white supremacy against us. So we've had it, and we're done with it. Um, Kush, you had something to say?
I need,
Yeah. Somebody wanted to jump in right quick.
is he still here? I just wanted to say,
He
if
just dropped down,
you
sweetie.
are melanated and you came to the United States of America, you cannot complain about anybody treating you in a racist manner because you left a place where everybody was like you. So if you don't like it, make a U-turn and get out. You're not going to pull our black card. We earned this card. You did not. Don't talk about race to me ever. I don't care if we're doing it to you. No matter what is happening to you racially, you don't have to put up with it. You can go back home.
And the original Nigerian was Floyd Shaw. That's the only real Nigerian.
So are you gonna go back home or what? You gonna go back home? I know that you said that somebody called you an African booty scratcher, so you gonna go back home now or what?
He been here since
Seventh?
the third grade, so he ain't left yet.
Yeah.
If I
Okay.
just I just wanted to hop in while we were still at this point with this is to the room. This is not addressing this African individual because I have encountered this personally. And the thing is, I'm kind of glad that I have encountered my tribe on Twitter, which didn't think I would find, but some of this has really helped me in how I encounter people in real life because honestly, while I may have seen certain things, especially from like West Africans, later in life, because I'll say in Baltimore City, we really didn't have a lot of African immigrants in mass in Baltimore City a certain type of way. We would see some of the animosity from these people, but it wasn't frequent and it wasn't enough for us to have to like really challenge them away. But seeing it now that I'm in the DMV area, and again with gentrification and then bringing these people into these metropolitans and counties, it's interesting because I actually had an experience with a Nigerian who tried to tell me about my culture. And I wanted to say this to the room because these people will come to this country, and as I said to the Nigerian who tried to educate me on foundational Black American culture based off of what he watched on PBS from Louis Henry Gates, I said a lot of these foreigners have, in order for them to get citizenship, they have to learn white American history. They
Facts.
don't have to learn foundational Black American history. So these people will try to tell us, and I had a Nigerian who came here from Nigeria when he was 14 years old. He tried to tell me that I did not know about racism in the United States because you are from Maryland. You probably have not left and do not know. So he tried to tell me that it's very racist in Michigan and that he wasn't talking about Detroit. And I said, first of all, I know that Michigan is more than just Detroit. I know that. But let's be very clear. A lot of foundational Black Americans migrated or moved up into uh, Illinois and Michigan and all of these different places from the South. People are from the country. In the country and in rural areas, people keep a shotgun. Let's be clear, even in some of our urban areas, we keep a shotgun, depending on where you live. So when this person tried to tell me that, oh, when I went to Michigan and I went to school, that is when I learned about race, about racism. And I'm sitting here going, you didn't learn that when you went to the University of Maryland in College Park? Oh, I was there and I told those people I am not black, because he was talking to me about how he wanted to get a promotion and he wasn't getting promoted. And so the foundational black Americans were telling him, you're not being promoted because, in comparison to these white people, they see you as black. Oh no, I taught them I am Nigerian. I said, I know you did. And it was foundational black Americans who told you were black. But it was the white people in Maryland who humbled them. And so I say all of that to say these people will come here and they'll come to places like Maryland where they think Maryland is not racist. Oh, please. Our racism just looks different. It just looks different. But he wanted to tell me. And so eventually, when I began to see my air quotes school him on foundational black American culture, his retort to me was, but I was called an African booty scratcher. Long story short, shorter than what I can make it, that African ended up getting drunk and leaving the event for the night. He had to go up there and say to me, I want to learn from you. I said, you won't be learning from me because I'm not here to teach you anything. But let's be very clear. That thing that actual factual did, yes, these, especially West Africans, Nigerians in particular, some of them will do this. They will engage and pretend like they don't know. They will pretend like they're going to school us on our history. Oh, they are the absolute worst. And if you are not mentally and emotionally fortified, you could easily get sucked in and roped in. That's all I'm gonna say to that.
All right, we're going to get a couple more speakers. I see a new person, Mobile. What's on your mind? Mobile, can you hear me? I think that says Mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Mobile going once, going twice. Maybe his thing is down. All right, Clue. What's on your mind?
Oh, I apologize for earlier. How y'all doing, Professor Allen?
Hey,
Wani, Nikki, everybody in the room. I apologize for early because somebody dropped me down and I'm not good at these emojis and I'm blinder than the bat. So I apologize if I made a noise.
Oh
Forgive me.
no, that's okay.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I got dropped down. So I just wanted to say that why are people confused about race? And can we immigration be a coalition? I thought at one time it was possible, and I have been in here before. And like I said, I have been to uh, my job that I'm in as a civilian. It has put me in different places, and one of the couple of places I've been in has been Korea, and even in uh, I'll go ahead and say this: Kuwait, Iraq. I have been. They do treat us differently than Africans. They do know the difference. They do know the difference. I can tell you about one incident that I had that at the time, me and my husband, he was wanting to go get a haircut, and we lived off post. We didn't live on post. As a civilian, we don't live on post. Um, and so we live out on the market with the Koreans, and they were always very nice to us. They knew the difference. They knew the difference. And only place my husband at the time can go and get his haircut, was an African there. And yes, they do cosplay us. But the Koreans there were very, very mean to those Africans. They knew the difference. And it was one incident when we were out on the market that a couple of Koreans was going at it with these Africans, and they treat them like garbage. Even in Kuwait, going to the defect on post, the Indians treat the Nigerians bad. Even out on the market, they treat them bad. I don't know what it is about them. Nobody likes them. But when it comes to
that was my mistake. I'm sorry. I might hit the wrong
oh,
button.
they're totally different when it comes to us. I guess they got a certain look. Most definitely, they got a certain smell. And they just treat us totally different. I just wanted to say that. And I'll land my plane.
Thank you for your submission. I who let's see, Mark Anthony. I don't know if you had a chance to speak. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I haven't. Good evening, everybody. Professor Alvin, Sister Wani, and Sister Nikki. Two things. I have to address this. Like one thing, being in these spaces, I get sick of is these non-FBA folks coming up in our spaces, you know, whining about, why we hate them, or I'm acting all innocent and stuff. If my thing is, if you want to stand out from the rest, call out your folks amongst your amongst your community. Call out the BS in your community. That's all we ask. I don't feel what I'm saying. You know, you're not doing us any favors coming up in here trying to act like, you know, y'all trying to be on our side and stuff. You know, it's time out for that. Because when they come up in here doing that, it's very condescending, and a lot of us will take offense to that. So I just wanted to address that. That's something I've noticed for a long time. Is and they come up in here with these white supremacist talking points too. When you call them out on something, then they try to act stupid like they don't know what you're talking about. They try to deny their vitriol towards us, just like the white supremacists try to deny their anti-black racism
Preach.
towards us. So that's what I've noticed for a long time, and it's got to stop somewhere. And the second thing, earlier when he was talking about the military, um, about the FBA's in the military and how they get programmed and then they end up in interracial relationships. I mean, it's more so a question, but do you think the military was partially used to break up the black family? Because that's the question I'm wondering in my mind. Because you get programmed not to see color, and not to guard your culture and everything, and then you end up easily ending up in these interracial relationships where our bloodline is messed up.
Do you
So
feel like the white guys are marrying people? I know they marry, but I can't get a feel for to what percentage they're marrying when they go to the military.
um, I'm honestly not sure on that. I've been out here. They go to the military, marry, a lot of Asians and stuff.
You said they marry a lot of Asians?
Yeah, like a lot of them.
Yeah, that's just an occupational hazard. If you're, in a foreign country and your type of women are not around, that's just what happens.
Yeah, yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
My homie
you
said
have to
his
make.
father, I'm sorry, my homie said his father, he told me this literally today. His father was stationed in South Korea, I believe in the 80s. And apparently he's telling me he has a bunch of half siblings over in South Korea. We literally were texting about this a couple hours ago. So it's funny y'all brought that up.
It's an occupational hazard. You would have to make an effort to say, I'm not going to do that, and, just be exclusive if you feel like you have something to preserve. But other than that, it's just been an occupational hazard for men in the military and women, but mostly men.
Okay,
You
I land my plane on that.
okay? We're gonna get one more speaker. Hampton, what's on your mind?
Peace, peace, FBA family. Just hearing that person earlier speak, oftentimes it's Nigerians, and it reminds me of a time that I was speaking to a Nigerian, and we were having a very interesting conversation because we were talking about race relations, and he was trying to back away from the conversation, right? He didn't want to engage in it. It was almost as if he thought white mommy and white daddy were listening to us, but it was just me and him talking. And I tell him, here, this is America. America is based on racism. I mean, 1638 Maryland Doctrine of Exclusion, us being considered three-fifths. I mean, it's literally, there were racist laws for this country. And he said something interesting, and I'll never forget this. He says, when I'm back in Nigeria, I forget that I am black. I am not black when I am in Nigeria. I am only black when I come back to America. And it really made me see it. They don't understand like, they truly don't. They are so mind effed, if you'll excuse the term, but they're so brainwashed. They truly can't grasp their mind around the fact that here, the way this country has worked is that the white supremacists have established different structures and different policies that oppress us, and we have fought them, and we have fought them vehemently, and we have fought them consecutively, and we continue to fight. Their minds really think that we're just some random lost tribe that has no culture and that has no history and doesn't know anything about their people. And meanwhile, they don't even understand how the world works outside of that little village that they will have to walk 9 miles to get water to. And so, even in the most simplistic form, in the simplest concept, they truly do not get it. The only thing they get is knowing that they want to get over here and get in as close proximity of whiteness as possible, which is why their cadences are white when they talk. When they speak more nasally. When they go to different places, they want to socialize amongst the dominant society. They are eager to get to them. They are fighting to get to them. They are crawling and scratching to get to the dominant society because they believe being in proximity of them, that success will rub off on them.
Can I say something, y'all?
That economic growth will rub off on them. And so they don't really realize until they get their nigga wake up call. And then when they get their nigga wake up call over here in America, first thing they do, brother, sister, oh, I experienced racism, brother, sister, oh, they racist, oh, they came to me, oh, they called me this, they called me that. No, 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 no. Because when we tried to tell you how it worked, you didn't believe us.
Can I,
When we told you we were attacked, you didn't believe us. When we told you that we were assaulted, when we were marginalized, that we were constantly being put under the gun, you said it was our fault. Now you want to come running to us to save you? Kiss the blackest part of my ass, and I land my plane with that.
can I say something,
I
y'all?
want to say something really quick before actual factual talks. Any melanated motherfucker that crawled up on the United States of America is an insult to me because you're saying you don't believe in racism. You don't believe that we had to go through all these advocates, abolitionists, civil rights. You don't believe in that. You just think that one day the white boy said, oh, slavery's over, everything's cool,
Preach.
we're all equal now. You don't believe us. If you brought your ass on this land, you don't believe us because you can't complain about racism once you come here. After all we've been through, you'd have to have your head under a rock, and you did. Your head is under a rock. So yeah, you live in the jungle. You live out of dodge of news. You don't know anything about history. You don't have a history and you don't know about our history. We have to dig your history up for you, as I said earlier in the room. You don't know anything, but you got a big fat mouth and you like to tell us things out of a dumb, empty brain that has no information. You want to tell us about race? You want to tell us how to act with white people, and you have no experience with either one. You don't have a race problem in Nigeria. You don't have white people overseeing you in Nigeria. So, what on earth could you possibly talk to us about
Can I
on those topics?
may I respond, please?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. This is the thing. I believe you. Today, what I do is I teach a software engineering program, and that program has put hundreds of American kids into
Screech,
software. And
We don't
screech,
need you to do that.
but if I can
screech.
finish my point, I
We
believe
have
you.
been in tech when you were making baskets. You're making baskets now.
If I could get through 10 seconds,
No, you're not training shit. You were trained
I believe you.
here.
Do you know why we
Hey, you
come over
taking
here?
somebody else's, you taking a black American's position.
Can I tell
Talking
you?
about you over here
Can I tell
helping
you
us,
why?
bro. Why
There
don't you
you
help
go. There
Can I
it
yourself?
tell you? Can
is.
I tell you why we're here?
You're
Right?
you're you're taking somebody else's spot, and then you know why you really not in
If I
Nigeria? Why
if I
Nigerians
if I
aren't in
could just
Nigeria?
have a few
Because there's other
words.
Nigerians there, and y'all don't want to be around them. That's why.
All
And
right.
y'all real good at fighting though. Y'all lost some
If I
fighters
could
when it comes to
please,
fighting other melanated
if
people.
if
Y'all
I
do
could
that real
please,
good.
respectfully, if I could just please have a few
Okay, could
words.
finish telling us about how you're
Thank
training
you.
our people. I refuse. Let me tell you what
It's
you're
from
not going to
love. It's
say.
from love,
If
bro.
my head will explode if a goddamn African tries to tell me that they're training Black Americans, you're not in a position to train anything. We have 17 astronauts. You are not training shit
I know.
around here. So lower your presence.
I'm not trying
Lower,
to elevate my
lower,
presence.
lower your presence
Yes,
around here.
I'm not
Because
trying
we
to.
know we know who's who.
Queen,
Okay?
Queen. I'm not trying to elevate
We
my
know who's
presence.
who.
If I can just speak to
Bro,
why we're
just
here.
go back to Lagos, bro, and it
So
won't be an issue. No
let me tell
contact,
you
no
my let me
problem. You
tell you
don't have
my
to explain.
let me take ten
Just leave.
seconds. Let me take 10 seconds to explain my
Okay,
family's
go ahead.
experience.
Explain
So
your
so
situation.
back home, my family was raised in Niger Delta. Back in the 70s when my parents grew up, it was a thriving fishing community that was water there. And ExxonMobil, an American company, came in. They discovered oil and they drilled and they did not adhere to safety standards. And that water's purple now. So you can't fish. All the fish are dead. You can't grow crops. They rape my land. And so we come here and we get an education and we give back to both Black
Your
Americans,
government let
but
that
it's
I
real.
happen.
literally was about to say
It's
that. Why
real
didn't your government, your Nigerian government, with
because
your
it's
people that
corrupt.
look like you, do anything about
Because
it?
just like
I
America
like
is
That's
corrupt,
that.
not our
Nigeria is
fault.
corrupt.
That's not. See,
It's
y'all, what
corrupt.
y'all do? Hold on. What y'all do is y'all say, well, this company is American, so that entitles me to come over here and
That
fuck
company
over
pays
Black
taxes and it
Americans.
goes towards a
That
lot of
that's
things in
your
America.
that's shut up, bitch. That's your whole logic is that American company did something in your country that your government allowed. Therefore, you can come over here and take shit off of our plate, and we ain't have nothing to do with that shit. That is
The
pure
people have
fucking
no
evil.
power.
That is
The
pure
corrupt
fucking
politicians have
evil.
power.
You're
Okay,
stealing
so
our fucking economic position. You're stealing from
can
us.
I interject for a
You
second?
are
I
the
got a question
fucking
for the
enemy.
gentleman. I got a question for the gentleman. I have a question, and this is a legitimate question. You being very respectful, I'm going to be as respectful. I reciprocate energy, but I do have a
Thank you.
question. You talk
Thank
about
you.
the government. You're saying that the government it has corruption in it.
Hmm.
We know this to be true
Hmm.
because we see the result of what's happening with y'all people over there.
Hmm. Hmm.
My thing is, why is it that you have people from y'all society come over to our universities, study political science, and then try to get a political job here instead of going back to where they would actually have some influence and be able to change things after they've learned what they've been able to benefit from our ancestors sacrificing and getting our asses whooped and dogs sicked on us and all types of stuff. Our people bled so that y'all could get opportunities to do that to fix your nation.
Can I
And then you're
respond?
here on our stage telling us how you're making opportunities for our
Can I
kids.
respond?
What about the kids over there?
Can I respond? I agree
Yeah,
with you.
There were
absolutely.
53 other countries you could have
I
went to
agree
in
with you.
Africa. You didn't have to come
I
over here and
agree.
take food off our plate, bitch.
Okay, if I can respond, I agree with you. We need more of that. We need more people to go back. I personally, so it's called Google Developer Groups. We have groups in America that I work with, and that we have groups in Nigeria that I work with. We need more people to go back to help. So I agree with you there. I'm not your
Are
enemy.
you people? Are
Start
you
with
people?
yourself.
Or what are you?
What do
Well,
you mean? What's your question?
You said
well,
you need
I
more
want to
people to
identify. I
move.
want to identify something because there's a big point here. There's an elephant in the room, and I don't mean any disrespect. I'm just telling it like it is. If you have a group of people who are so weak and so battered, so shell shocked that they can't fix their own government. Because foundational Black Americans, we stood up as children and fixed our fucking government. If you're from a culture where you had to run away because you couldn't handle the pressure, you ran away from your grandmama, you ran away from family members, you left them over there to die. I can't trust you. I don't want you in my
Our
circle.
homeland was raped.
That's not my fault. Our homeland
I
was
know it's
right.
not your fault, but it's
Our,
true.
our homeland was
You raped our people and threw them on slave ships, and then we got raped
Not
over
not
here.
me,
right.
not me.
Not me either,
Why
ho.
why shouldn't we? I got a question for him. Why, as a response to what you're doing, saying that, oh well, you have problems over there, so you can come over here and take, basically colonize us. Why shouldn't we be advocating for the U.S. government to colonize Nigeria and take your resources and give them to Black Americans as a form of reparations for
I
the
think because we're
transatlantic
all well,
slave trade? Why
I
shouldn't we
think
be doing
because
that?
if we I think because if we ally, we'll be stronger.
No,
No, no, no,
because
no,
Well,
no,
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 no, no, no, no, no, no,
why
no.
aren't
We
you
that's
allying with
not.
the Yoruba, the
no, no,
Igbo,
no,
the
no.
Mabi?
Hold on
Why
one
aren't
second.
you
Hold on
allying?
one second, brother. Hold on one second. There it is, right there, and that's the title. Can immigrant coalitions be trusted? No, because that, like the gentleman said, he ran away from his fucking homeland. He couldn't stand the pressure. He couldn't stand up to his goddamn government, and he ran his ass over here. Now check this out. Given the fact that you're too weak to stand up to your own people, I can't trust you. If we're a chain, you're the weak link, and you're going to be the first to break when the white supremacists offer you something. So I
You
don't
you
trust
can
you, and I don't want you around me.
you can think that I'm gonna still have black
Let me
kids.
ask
I'm
you
gonna
a
still have black.
question. Hold
You
on.
just don't want to go home, bitch. That's all it is. You don't want
Can
to
you
go home.
tell us who do you want to ally with you?
People who want black people all
Name the
around the world to
name.
progress.
No, no, no. Name the people you want allied together.
Black people around the world.
Okay. And
We can help
what
each
is
other
okay? If that's true, why aren't 1.3 billion people helping each other now over in Africa?
because we can have a conversation. I get muted every 2 seconds.
Why do
Me
we have to
muting
be
you is
involved in what
Here go
in
I
y'all?
whine, I cry, I cry for you, niggas.
you say that me muting you is why 1.3 billion Africans won't get together? Damn, I had no idea I had that kind of power.
Wa-
This
Create a
mute button.
Nigerian space. Create your own Nigerian space where y'all can have. Right now, we're talking foundational. This is a foundational Black American space. We're talking foundational Black American business. You're in our space. We're not in your space. So when you're saying I'm getting muted every 2 seconds, the same way you allege you were being called an African booty scratcher, why don't you leave? If you're not getting the respect you feel you deserve, you're not being heard the way you feel you should be heard, you need more people, see my air quotes, going back to Africa to help you fix Africa. Go and create an African space for African people so y'all can devise a plan to go back to Africa. Because, see, none of us are from Africa. You can actually go back because that's where you're from. Create a space. Go home. Go home. Because here's the other thing I have for you, actual factual, and other Africans like yourself who miss a point. A lot of you are the descendants of the people who betrayed the warrior class.
Facts.
So we're the descendants of the warrior class. So when you talk about that purple water, see, your ancestors betrayed our ancestors. So you don't have any warriors on the continent because we're out here in the diaspora. Let's be very clear. Foundational Black Americans have a mix of the Black Aboriginal and the kidnapped Africans. We are a different people. So when you're talking about that purple water, you also need to reconcile why it is you have purple water because you're the descendant of traders. That's straight up, that's facts. This
Well,
is
Queen,
facts and
well,
stats.
Queen, I will say God bless. I only came here to gain more
What
information.
God? The white man? That's your God. You
No,
got that big
I will
ass
say
white
God
Jesus
bless.
statue
I'm
over
only here
there.
to help, and if y'all don't want my help,
We didn't
that's
ask
Why
you
fine.
why aren't
though.
you helping
You
in
showed up. We
You
ain't
Nigeria?
didn't
asked
ask
you
me for
nothing.
you didn't ask me for my help,
We
but
didn't
I
act right.
appreciate
We
y'all
didn't
giving me
ask
the
you for
space.
nothing. We didn't
I'm
ask you for
saying God
nothing. You
bless.
asked us for information. You said, I
Hey,
want to learn.
hold on one second. I want to identify something. He came in here and projected some type of insult that we wasn't even talking about. So don't play this passive aggressive game with us. It's not going to work,
Now,
sir.
what I'm saying is that's my experience here in America, right? And today, what I'm doing is trying
It
to
wouldn't
help
have been
kids
your
learn how to
experience if
code,
you would go home. If you
right?
never came here,
I
you
went to
wouldn't have
school
the
in the
experience.
Bronx. I experienced race. I got me and my friends walking home from school
You know
got
what this
harassed
is?
by
This
Didn't
is
police.
I tell you you're not going to talk about racism when you came from Africa?
I'm
What
saying
the
that
fuck is wrong with your
racism
brain?
in America is real. I'm confirming that.
I
get your
don't
bitch
give
ass
a fuck. I don't need your backup. I don't need your back. You don't verify racism. What the fuck?
Hey, like y'all said, he left his grandma to die. Somebody he got out back.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not going to ally with somebody who walked away from their family because there's a lack of trust there. At your fundamental core, with all due respect, your ancestors are cowards for walking away from your family. And given the fact you're a coward, even if I wanted to like you, I couldn't trust you in my mix. Because if you turn your back on your fucking grandmama, if you turn the back on your nephew and your niece, what's saying you're not going to turn your back on me?
I support my family and I send them money and I support them.
Nah, that
So
don't work
you
that way.
send money from my country to your
Your
country.
country
So you're
gain
just a
your
leech. You're a
country.
leech. You're a leech.
Bruh,
You're a parasite.
your brain drain is destroying Nigeria. You need to take you talking about some new you schooling over here? Take your bitch ass to Lagos or Ondo, Ado, wherever the fuck you from, and the Delta, whatever you said, and go help your people. They need that shit way more than us.
I'm gonna say God bless.
We are centuries ahead of y'all. Y'all, I've been saying this on the air for years. Y'all like 500 years behind us,
Nigerians are the
bro. When it
most
comes to
educated
damn near
group in
everything.
America.
No,
That's a
No,
you're
you're the
fact.
not.
most. No, you
No,
Okay,
have
you're
the
so
most
not.
if
fake.
that's
You
You're
have
a
the
okay,
most
liar.
fake
You're
if
degrees.
you guys are
educated
so
because we,
Man, go swear with them fake ass
yeah, first
degrees.
of all, you made a bunch of fake articles. You're not more educated. You are, I don't even know what you're talking about. You came up here with the passive aggressive BS.
You see?
You're being trained by Black Americans and flexing whatever degrees you get that you got. You are a charity fucking case. 80 of you motherfuckers went to Morgan State University to learn how to be doctors, and then you want to get out of there and start flexing your doctorness? Are you sick?
We're
You
educated.
don't have anything to fucking flex. You don't have anything. Everything you got is charity from us. We give you fucking charity. We give more charity than the average American, 25% more. And America gives more charity than everyone else. You are a charity case. And you're not going to come over here and make fake articles saying that you're balling and that you got money. 50% of you motherfuckers are on welfare. Shut up. Don't you ever quote some fucked up statistic that you made. You're not smart. You're fundamentally idiotic. Everything that comes out of your mouth is stupid. You're sitting up in a country known for racism, telling the people who fought it about it. Don't ever talk to us about it. You don't know anything about us. You brought your ass from a black country to come over here and tell us about being black. Shut up. You came from Africa. There was no white people running your ass around. Why are you here telling us somebody called you a fucking booty scratcher? You are.
I will say God bless, and I
Well,
thank you for
he's
your
No,
he's
Oh,
time.
simple.
shut up. Don't tell
hey,
us about
professor.
God. Don't tell us about blessing. Don't tell us about racism. Don't tell us about nothing. You know about basket weaving. And if I want to weave a basket, I will contact you on the app. You don't know anything about anything. You don't know anything about being a doctor. You don't know anything about HBCUs. You don't know anything about being an astronaut. You don't know anything about software unless your dumbass learns it from us over here.
I think
We
you were
were
hurt.
doing software when you were scratching your ass in Africa under a bush.
I,
Shut up. You have no proof of you ever doing anything better than us at any time, any place on the planet in any country. Every country you go to, you lay in the fucking streets selling garbage and selling your women's asses. Don't ever try to talk down to us. You're not training us in anything. You are a fucking parasite sucking off the tit of America, hanging off the tit of Black America, trying to talk to us. Shut up.
Who hurt you?
You
Your
got
mom.
cooked. You got cooked, bro. You got
Somebody
cooked
hurt you.
real bad.
Somebody hurt
Your
her.
mom
Hey,
hurt. Your
hey, hey,
mom hurt me
hey.
when she
You know,
squatted you out in my country.
I hear
That's
pain.
who hurt me. Your goddamn mammy.
I'm sorry that somebody hurt you. I'm
I'm
not
You
that
sorry
you
your
one.
can look.
mammy
You
hurt me.
came into our space. You
Right.
came to where we are.
So
You want to be
In
around
good faith.
foundational Black Americans.
In good
So don't
faith.
get offended. Don't get offended when
In
we
good
tell you
faith.
like it is.
If somebody hurt you, it
You came
wasn't
why
in
you
here.
me.
don't
You
got
can
faith in
leave.
your
You
Yeah,
can
your
homeland?
leave.
mammy
Why you
hurt
don't got
me.
faith in your homeland? Go have good faith with the other tribes that y'all killed. Go have faith with the Fulani, the
Y'all don't
Yoruba, the
want me
Igbo,
here.
whatever.
I'll leave.
Why
But I
y'all
did
hate
come
each
here in
other?
good
Why
faith.
y'all hate each other? But you over here talking about unity. And you
I'm
know
not
what?
gonna
Hey,
I'm not
professor,
gonna
professor,
insult
I want
you.
to say something real quick. It feels like we're three-dimensional beings, or you want to say a higher dimension, and we're talking to two-dimensional people. So it's like they understand length and length pause, but they don't understand depth because
Well,
they can't see it
w-
because they're
w-
like on a sheet of paper. You
Well,
know when they
y'all don't
break
let me
down
speak. Y'all don't let me
you know when
speak,
they
so it's
break
not
down
like
like
it's a
the
conversation.
dimensions and they try to explain it that way. So like what would a third dimensional being see? How would they move in the second dimension? So like he can only move in two ways. We can move in at least three. So like
Yeah,
there's
but y'all
no
don't let
depth
people
here.
speak.
So
You
and
did
depth part
speak.
the part of the lack of depth that he has is the self awareness. Does that make sense?
yeah. Well, yeah. You're right. But what you're really looking at, well, I think it's kind of complicated. The sister, Queen Kush, kind of brought that up. That his ancestors were involved in that transatlantic slave trade, and they were too dumb to realize that the African tribal kings and chiefs were so dumb they didn't realize that the Europeans were purchasing their engineers, the scholarship class, the warriors. So it brain drained West Africa and made it into that slum dump that it is today. But what you're looking at, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen,
America raped our
it
land, bro.
he's whining. Stop whining to a grown man. Open your own
Can
space,
I can
sir.
I kick him off? Can I just kick him out so
You're
we
a
can
Yeah,
lower
kick
finish
him
what we're
out.
talking about?
dimensional. You're a lower
He
dimensional
left before
being.
you kicked him out.
You can't
Well,
see what
well,
we're talking about because you don't operate in the dimensions we operate in. You're beneath it.
Why
well,
did I get so mad?
because the audacity to come up here and whine and and play the passive aggressive strategy. But what I wanted to say is, ladies and gentlemen, people like him, deep down, and our brother Tariq has said this before me. People like him deep down are embarrassed that they had to run away from their homeland, and they looking at us standing tall in the midst of white supremacy, still living, not only living but thriving, up here dropping scholarship, up here cooking, and he's looking at us feeling deep down ashamed of himself. So you're looking at a deep-seated amount of jealousy and ultimately shame on his part, and that makes him dangerous because he goes to our schools and take slots. Engineering, like I've said a year ago, is a very highly racialized degree program that weeds Black Americans out. And they have a quota, no matter what school you're talking about, they have a quota for Black, foundational Black Americans, for Black people in general. They categorize us all in the same batch. But particularly, they have a smaller quota for Black men. So he sat up there and took a slot from a foundational Black American, so he could become an engineer and not go back home. He should. My advice to the gentleman is he should take his engineering degree if he actually has one, and his engineering license if he actually has one, and go to West Africa and help them motherfuckers learn how to build a toilet.
And Professor, if you notice, he avoided answering. Why don't y'all go back and do that where you come from? It's always, I wish more of us would do it, but none of them ever get up and do it. It's wolf tickets. They selling wolf tickets. Oh, we wish our people would go back. We need people to go back. You gonna go back? No, hell no, man. Not me. Tell them other niggas go. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that type of energy.
I ain't never going back. Yeah.
I ain't never going back.
Maybe they shouldn't be allowed to even immigrate at all. Maybe so they won't know anything about over here. Because it's like once they know about what we got popping, it's like these motherfuckers like, no, I will die before I leave, bro. Like it be all fun and games until you start asking them when they going home, bro. That's when the shit go downhill. These people are squatting in a country we built and whining to us. They're trying to complain to us. And try to talk about some let's unite or some type of draw parallels between us and them. It's crazy. Just get the fuck out of my house, bitch. That's all you gotta do.
It's
No contact, no conflict. I land my plane.
it's
Thank
going
you.
to take legislation. It's going to take politics. I think we need to continue to tighten or plug the gap in the dam of immigration because it's destroying us. You know what I'm saying? That dude was the worst type of enemy because he was passive aggressive. And another FBA that wasn't as wise and hip on game as us may give him the benefit of the doubt, which is a very dangerous thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to look at the Jumbotron where you'll see Wani Spots and Nikki the guys cash out. Show them love for their scholarship and dedication. In addition, you'll see my cash app, Our Story Publications. If you want to copy my book, put $25 on it and put your on the cash app. Put your full address and zip code, and I'll mail you a copy out. I've enjoyed y'all tonight. We'll continue a similar conversation tomorrow. Um, I'm gonna let Miss Stacy quickly.
Yeah, because she had
She's
a
been
really
here.
hard time getting in here. Yeah.
Go ahead, Stacy.
Hey, thank you guys. Good evening to the room, everybody, FBA family. Just was gonna say real quick. Why are people confused about race? I'm not sure. I missed a lot of the space earlier. I got in, then got kicked out. But I can say that immigrant coalitions know they absolutely cannot be trusted, and obviously that dude was showed evidence of that. When I get so tired of people complaining about that African booty scratcher. You see how light I am. I was called an African booty scratcher. The shit was funny. We called everybody one. It was funny. So what? We've been called way worse than that. And so that, that whine and shit. But one of the things I noticed about that dude, I'm gonna make this as fast as I can, is I noticed the disrespect because he still kept saying, I love African Americans. Of course you do, because you're African. We are not. And and then even when Wani was talking and she was saying us Black Americans, and he still kept saying African Americans. And I'm like, see, and you're not even listening because you know good and goddamn well we are not freaking Africans. So your little raggedy ass. And y'all kept saying, why is he even in this room? This is our own space. But they love to come up in here and spy. And he's the type of dude that will try to hide behind a white person and take refuge behind a white person and shoot at us from behind one of them if they'll let him stay there long enough. But that's what he'll do, hide behind somebody else and be shooting at us at the same time. So yeah, they absolutely cannot be trusted. And just like you said, if they fled their homes and left their families, basically they turned on them and then like you said would die before they will go back. Then no, how they can never have our backs because if we were in a situation, we'd most definitely be abandoned and be left holding, left on the front lines to take all of the abuse, all of the kills, the death and the bloodshed. So no, absolutely not. And hopefully in the future we can just stop letting these idiots in our spaces. And I'll go ahead and land. Thank you guys so much for letting me speak. I love
Yeah,
y'all.
and in closing, I just wanted to say that, like Dr. Francis Cress Welton said, we are in a war. This is a war. That's what Welsing said. I agree with it, and we're on the black side of the chessboard. So him coming in here um, and joining with us is not really appropriate because he's not battle proven. He's proven that his lineage has proven that he would run away from his own family to seek opportunity elsewhere. We can't have people like that in our circle because they would stab us in the back the first time we become vulnerable. Ladies and gentlemen, I've enjoyed y'all. Wani, did you have any final comments?
Good night.
Nikki?
Good night, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue a similar topic tomorrow. Look out for us. On that note, I bid you all a good night, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.